The quantum whisper. The low hum of quantum processors filled the cramped laboratory, a symphony of technological potential that seemed to breathe with anticipation. Dr. Ria Novak adjusted her worn-out glasses, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display dancing with complex mathematical equations. Outside the reinforced windows of the Planetary Research Institute, the bustling metropolis of New Denver continued its relentless rhythm. Unaware of the breakthrough taking shape within these walls, Ria's fingers moved with practiced precision, manipulating quantum entanglement algorithms that had consumed the last 7 years of her life. Most of her colleagues had long since dismissed her research as an impossible dream, creating a communication network that could transcend traditional limitations of space and time. But she knew something they didn't, something that whispered at the edge of scientific understanding. Her prototype quantum resonance communicator was more than just a theoretical construct. It was a bridge between the known and the unknown, a potential key to unlocking communication methods beyond human comprehension. "System diagnostic complete," announced the lab's eye assistant, its neutral tone contrasting with the electric excitement building in Rita's chest. "Quantum stability at 99.87%. Probability of successful transmission, 62.4%. Those numbers might seem modest to an outside observer, but to Ria, they represented years of relentless determination. She had sacrificed everything: personal relationships, traditional career paths, even her family's understanding, to pursue this dream. The laboratory was a testament to her singular focus. Walls covered with equations, holographic models suspended in midair, and experimental quantum modules that looked more like abstract art than scientific equipment. Scattered coffee mugs and half-eaten protein bars revealed the human behind the genius, someone who was fueled more by passion than by conventional sustenance. As she prepared to initiate the test sequence, a notification blinked on her secondary screen. Another rejection letter from the Global Science Consortium. They had dismissed her research as speculative and fundamentally impractical. Their loss, she thought with a determined smile. The quantum communicator began to pulse, its crystalline core generating the soft blue light that seemed to breathe with an almost living energy. Ria's hand hovered over the activation sequence, her heart racing. This wasn't just another experiment. This was a moment that could change everything. Little did she know that her quantum whisper was about to be heard by ears, or whatever passed for ears, far beyond human imagination. Thousands of light-years away within the intricate cybernetic networks of the Syndicate, a collective of technologically advanced civilizations, a unique quantum signature began to register. Algorithmic sentinels, designed to track unusual electromagnetic patterns, suddenly came alive with unprecedented activity. "Anomalous transmission detected," reported a silicon-based intelligence unit. "Origin: Sol system, planet, Earth. Quantum signature: unknown." The Syndicate's communication protocols, which had remained unchanged for millennia, found themselves confronted with a transmission that defied their established understanding of interstellar communication. It was raw, unfiltered, and carried a complexity that suggested something remarkable. This wasn't just a message. It was a potential key to an entirely new method of communication. Back in the laboratory, Ria watched in awe as her quantum communicator began to generate patterns that didn't match any known transmission protocol. The holographic display flickered, mathematical sequences dancing in ways she had never anticipated. "What are you trying to tell me?" she whispered, her scientific curiosity overwhelming any sense of fear or reservation. Little did Dr. Ria Novak understand that her quantum whisper was about to become a roar that would echo across the galaxy, challenging everything the Syndicate thought they knew about technological communication and the potential of emerging civilizations. The first quantum bridge between humanity and the vast, unknown universe was being constructed, one uncertain transmission at a time. Echoes of resistance. The quantum transmission that Dr. Ria Novak had initiated sent ripples through the cosmic fabric in ways no one could have predicted. Within the sterile, geometrically perfect communication hub of the Syndicate's central processing planet, Alarms erupted in a cacophony of digital warnings. Overseer Krell, a highly evolved cybernetic entity whose consciousness spanned multiple neural networks, analyzed the incoming quantum signature. His crystalline processing core hummed with confusion. The transmission didn't follow any known communication protocols. It was chaotic, unpredictable, almost organic in its complexity. "Analyze origin point," Krell commanded, his voice a perfect blend of calculated precision and underlying concern. Holographic displays materialized, showing the transmission source, a small blue planet in an unremarkable solar system, Earth, a civilization that the Syndicate had previously categorized as pre-contact, technologically nascent. But this transmission challenged everything in their database. Meanwhile, in New Denver, Dr. Ria Novak remained unaware of the cosmic stir she had created. Her laboratory buzzed with energy as she meticulously recorded the quantum data. Each new pattern seemed to suggest a language, or perhaps something beyond language, that defied traditional communication models. The first official response came 3 standard galactic cycles later. A probe materialized in Earth's orbit, its sleek design a stark contrast to the planet's existing satellite network. Unlike human reconnaissance satellites, this was a living intelligence, a sentient mechanical entity designed to assess and categorize emerging civilizations. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, head of NASA's Advanced Monitoring Division, was the first to detect the anomaly. Her team had been tracking unusual electromagnetic signatures for months, but this was different. The probe didn't just observe, it seemed to be analyzing, processing, evaluating. "This is not a typical reconnaissance mission," Elena muttered, studying the holographic readings. Her fingers danced across quantum-encrypted communication panels, initiating first contact protocols that had existed only in theoretical documents until now. The Syndicate's probe began its systematic evaluation. It scanned human technological capabilities, cultural structures, and potential threats. But something unexpected happened. Each scan revealed layers of complexity that defied the Syndicate's predictive algorithms. Human technology, while seemingly primitive, showed remarkable adaptive potential. Their communication networks, computational systems, and problem-solving capabilities demonstrated a flexibility that the highly structured Syndicate found both fascinating and deeply unsettling. On the probe, an advanced AI began compiling its initial report. Civilization assessment. Humans. Technological level. Emerging. Potential threat index. Unknown. Adaptive coefficient. Unprecedented. Recommendation. Further investigation required. The report was transmitted back to the Syndicate's central processing hub, where Overseer Krell received it with growing intrigue. The quantum transmission, and now this probe's report, suggested that humans were not just another emerging species to be cataloged and potentially controlled. They were something else entirely. In her laboratory, Dr. Ria Novak continued her work, unaware that her quantum communication experiment had become the first line of an unprecedented cosmic dialogue. The whisper was growing louder, and the universe was beginning to listen. Back at NASA, Dr. Rodriguez assembled a specialized team. They knew something monumental was happening, even if they couldn't fully comprehend its implications. The probe remained in orbit, a silent sentinel watching, analyzing, waiting. Humanity stood on the precipice of a discovery that would change everything, a moment where an emerging civilization would first realize it was not alone in the universe, and that its potential was far greater than anyone had imagined. The echoes of resistance had begun, not through conflict, but through a remarkable display of human curiosity, adaptability, and an innate ability to challenge the unknown. The adaptive edge. The Syndicate's probe continued its silent observation, its advanced sensors probing the depths of human technological and social structures. What it discovered defied every predictive model in its extensive database. Dr. Elena Rodriguez had assembled an unprecedented interdisciplinary team at a classified research facility nestled in the Rocky Mountains. Quantum physicists worked alongside anthropologists, Computer engineers collaborated with linguists, and military strategists brainstormed with diplomatic experts. The common goal: understand the implications of their first extraterrestrial contact. It's not just about technology. Dr. Rajesh Mehta, a computational linguist, explained during a late-night strategy session. The probe is studying our adaptability. Every time it runs a predictive model, humans do something completely unexpected. He pulled up a holographic display showing various scenarios. Each simulation demonstrated how human beings consistently broke traditional patterns of technological and social development. Where most emerging civilizations followed linear progression, humans seemed to leap, innovating through creativity, collaboration, and an almost irrational optimism. Meanwhile, the syndicate's central processing hub was experiencing its own internal turmoil. Overseer Krell's assessment of the human transmission and probe data had created unprecedented debate among the collective intelligence. They are unpredictable, argued one faction of the cybernetic consciousness. Potential threat level: maximum. No, countered another segment. They are fascinating. Potential for integration: unprecedented. The debate reflected a fundamental challenge to the syndicate's understanding of technological evolution. Humans didn't just solve problems, they reimagined entire systems of problem solving. At the NASA facility, an unexpected breakthrough occurred. Dr. Ria Novak's quantum communication prototype had been modified by the interdisciplinary team. What began as a theoretical communication experiment was now a potential bridge between species. We're not just trying to communicate, Ria explained to her colleagues. We're trying to understand a completely different form of intelligence. The team developed a revolutionary adaptive algorithm that could potentially decode the quantum transmission. It wasn't about translation in the traditional sense. It was about creating a dynamic communication framework that could evolve in real time. Unbeknownst to the humans, the syndicate probe was running its own complex analyses. It detected something unprecedented in human behavior, a collective problem-solving approach that transcended individual limitations. When the probe simulated potential conflict scenarios, human responses were bizarrely nonlinear. Where other civilizations might respond with direct aggression or total submission, humans demonstrated a capacity for creative negotiation, technological workarounds, and collaborative solutions. Dr. Rodriguez noticed something peculiar in the probe's observation patterns. It seemed to be spending more time analyzing human potential than preparing for potential confrontation. They're studying us, she told her team. Not as a potential threat, but as a potential something else. The quantum communication network began to stabilize. Fragments of information started to flow, not as traditional messages, but as complex quantum data packets that seemed to carry emotional and conceptual information beyond simple language. Ria's hands trembled as she realized they were on the brink of something extraordinary. This wasn't just first contact. This was the potential beginning of an entirely new form of interspecies communication. The syndicate's central processing hub continued its analysis. The human civilization was proving to be their most complex study in millennia. Unpredictable, adaptive, potentially transformative. As night fell over the research facility, the quantum communicator pulsed with a soft, rhythmic light, a beacon of human potential reaching out into the vast, unknown cosmos. The adaptive edge of human civilization was about to be tested in ways no one could have imagined. Convergence of worlds. The quantum communication network had transformed from a theoretical experiment into humanity's most complex diplomatic platform. At the heart of this unprecedented breakthrough stood Dr. Ria Novak and her team, who had effectively created a bridge between two profoundly different forms of intelligence. The syndicate's initial assessment of humanity had dramatically shifted. What began as a potential threat evaluation had become an intense study of human potential. The probe, originally designed for reconnaissance, now served as a complex communication node, its algorithms constantly recalibrating to understand the nuanced, unpredictable nature of human interaction. Dr. Elena Rodriguez discovered something remarkable during a routine analysis. The quantum transmission wasn't just a communication method. It was a living, evolving system that seemed to learn and adapt with each interaction. It's like the communication itself is alive, she explained to her team. Every time we send a signal, the network restructures itself. It's not just transmitting information, it's creating new pathways of understanding. Deep within the syndicate's central processing hub, Overseer Krell faced unprecedented challenges. Traditional evaluation protocols failed repeatedly when applied to human communication patterns. Humans didn't just communicate, they reimagined communication itself. A breakthrough came unexpectedly. The quantum network began transmitting more than just data. It carried emotional resonances, conceptual frameworks, and something the syndicate had never encountered before: collective imagination. Ria's team discovered that the quantum communication was developing what could only be described as a shared consciousness. Not a merger, but a complex dialogue that allowed both human and syndicate intelligences to understand each other without losing their individual identities. "We're not just talking," Ria whispered during a critical moment of transmission. "We're creating a new language of understanding." The global scientific community watched in awe. What had started as a potentially hostile first contact was transforming into something unprecedented. Governments, military strategists, and diplomatic experts struggled to categorize this new form of interaction. The syndicate's probe began sharing increasingly complex information. Technological blueprints, scientific discoveries, and philosophical concepts began to flow through the quantum network. But unlike traditional information exchanges, these transmissions carried something more: a sense of mutual curiosity and respect. Dr. Rajesh Mehta noticed a fascinating pattern. The communication wasn't about dominance or submission. It was about mutual growth, about understanding the potential of different forms of intelligence. "They're learning from us," he told Alina, "just as we're learning from them." The breakthrough came during a critical moment of transmission. The quantum network revealed a shared challenge, a cosmic threat that neither humanity nor the syndicate could address alone. It was a problem so complex that it required the unique adaptive capabilities of both civilizations. Overseer Krell made a decision that would change galactic history. Instead of treating humans as a potential threat or a species to be controlled, the syndicate proposed a radical concept: collaborative exploration. The quantum communication network pulsed with potential. Humanity had done something unprecedented. They had transformed first contact from a potential conflict into an opportunity for mutual understanding. As the transmission stabilized, Raya looked at her team, a diverse group of scientists, linguists, and researchers who had become pioneers of a new form of interstellar communication. "We're not just talking to an alien civilization," she said, her voice filled with wonder. "We're creating a new way of understanding intelligence itself." The convergence had begun. Humanity had taken its first step into a larger, more complex universe, not through conquest, but through understanding. Beyond the horizon, the collaborative mission between humanity and the syndicate emerged as a testament to the power of collective intelligence. What began as a tentative first contact had evolved into a partnership that would reshape the understanding of technological and cultural evolution across the galaxy. The quantum communication network, now a living bridge between two civilizations, revealed a critical challenge: an approaching cosmic anomaly. A massive energy disruption that threatened multiple star systems, required a combination of human creativity and syndicate technological precision. Dr. Ria Novik found herself at the center of this unprecedented collaboration. Her quantum communication prototype had transformed into something far beyond its original design, a dynamic interface that allowed for instantaneous knowledge transfer and collaborative problem-solving. The threat was complex. A series of quantum destabilization events threatened to create catastrophic chain reactions across multiple galactic sectors. The syndicate's traditional approach of mathematical precision met humanity's innovative problem-solving in a remarkable display of collective intelligence. "It's not about having the most advanced technology," Ria explained during a critical strategy session. "It's about how we approach the problem." Dr. Elena Rodriguez and her team developed a revolutionary adaptive algorithm that could predict and potentially mitigate the quantum disruptions. Their approach combined human intuition with the syndicate's advanced computational capabilities. Overseer Krell watched in fascination as human researchers approached the problem with a flexibility that defied all previous computational models. Where the syndicate would typically create a linear solution, humans generated multiple potential approaches simultaneously, cross-pollinating ideas in ways that seemed almost chaotic, yet incredibly effective. The solution emerged not from a single breakthrough, but from a complex, collaborative process. Human researchers brought creative thinking, the ability to make intuitive leaps, and a willingness to challenge established protocols. The syndicate contributed precise computational power, advanced technological frameworks, and a deep understanding of cosmic mechanics. As the quantum disruption approached, the collaborative team worked with an intensity that transcended traditional boundaries of species, technology, and understanding. Communication happened not just through language, but through a complex quantum network that transmitted emotions, concepts, and potential solutions instantaneously. Rhea realized they were creating something entirely new, a form of collective intelligence that was greater than the sum of its parts. The quantum network had become more than a communication tool. It was a living ecosystem of shared knowledge and potential. The final moments of the crisis approached. Traditional computational models predicted a 98.7% probability of catastrophic failure. But the human syndicate team operated on a different principle, the principle of possibility. In a moment that would be recorded in the historical archives of multiple civilizations, they succeeded. The quantum disruption was not just mitigated, it was transformed into a source of new energy that could benefit multiple star systems. We didn't just solve a problem, Rhea told her team as the final computational sequences stabilized. We rewrote the rules of what's possible. The syndicate's perspective on emerging civilizations changed forever. Humans were no longer a species to be categorized or controlled. They were partners in a larger cosmic dialogue. As the quantum communication network pulsed with the energy of their shared success, Overseer Krell transmitted a message that would echo through galactic communication networks. Humanity, not a civilization to be observed, but a partnership to be explored. Dr. Elena Rodriguez looked at Rhea, both understanding that they had done more than solve a cosmic crisis. They had opened a new chapter in the understanding of intelligence, cooperation, and potential. The horizon of human potential had expanded beyond anything they could have imagined. The end of this mission was just the beginning of a much larger journey.